Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a video that has been requested many times, and it is a beginner's makeup kit video. So I've picked out a few products separated into product categories which I think are essentials for beginners when you're just starting out building your makeup kit, and I'll take you through a few suggestions in each category, maybe differentiated by your preference, differentiated by skin tone, skin type. I hope you'll find this video helpful. Let's get started. Now, the first thing that I consider the number one essential is eyeliner. I think an eyeliner can really enhance your look. It adds definition to the eyes. Now, some people prefer using a kajal instead of a top lash liner. Some people prefer the top lash liner. So I've got a few suggestions for everybody. My first suggestion is the Maybelline gel liner. This is a staple in my kit since many years. It is jet black, it's smooth and creamy, it's easy to apply, it comes with its own brush, it is not expensive at all, and it lasts a long time. My second suggestion is for people who like using pencils or who feel more comfortable with a pencil or who prefer only using a kajal on their waterlines, and that is the Plum Nature Studio Kajal. I've talked about this one in many of my videos. It is one of my favorites. It's not expensive, comes with its own sharpener, has a really nice smooth and creamy texture, very pigmented and very long lasting. All the products that I'm talking about today in this video are available online at Nykaa. You can buy them at a pretty good discount in the sale time. So if you're looking to build a beginner's makeup kit, I think this would be a really good time to buy a few of these products and build your kit at a more discounted price. And the third liner that I have picked out is by Sugar, and this is the I Told You So waterproof eyeliner. Once again, something that I'm sure you have seen me use in many videos. This is a black liquid liner. It's got a really dark rich black color, dries completely matte. It's really quick drying, and it may be a little more expensive than the lower end eyeliners in the market, but I think it is really worth the price tag. So if you like doing a top lash line, if you want to try your hands at a winged liner, I would definitely recommend this. I'm really sorry if I'm looking a bit sweaty on camera because I've got my lighting on. I have the fan off so that the audio doesn't get messed up because of the fan. So it's really hot, and I really apologize for looking a bit sweaty in this video. Coming to product number 2, I think everybody should have an everyday wear foundation and a special occasion foundation. You can also use your special occasion foundation diluted with some moisturizer for an everyday wear base. Now, for everyday wear, it's ideal to go with something that is not too high coverage, that feels natural, that is easy to apply, that doesn't need a lot of special tools to look really good on the skin, and something that matches your skin tone really well. That is the most important factor when you're choosing a foundation, a BB cream or a concealer. For an everyday wear base, my recommendation is going to be the LA Girl Pro BB cream. I love this so much. This gives a very natural looking coverage. It's not too heavy on the skin. You can just blend it with your fingers. It blends really quickly. It stays really well too. It's not like a super long lasting foundation kind of a thing, but it does stay for more than 6 hours on my skin. And this comes in a lot of shades, and all of those shades have quite a nice yellow undertone, so it matches the Indian skin tones really well. So that is my first recommendation. For foundation, I have 2 recommendations. For people who have super oily skin, who are looking for something high coverage for parties, special occasions, I would recommend the L'Oreal Infallible. Now, this is something even people with slightly dry skin can also use. You just have to make sure that you moisturize really well before using this. This is, I think, one of the most popular foundations in the Indian drugstore category, and I can see why. It is high coverage, it is very long lasting, and it just suits the Indian conditions really well. My second recommendation is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. This is not as matte and as drying as the L'Oreal one. It's a little more forgiving on the skin, and this also has a slight pore blurring effect. It is also best recommended for people with normal to oily skin, but even with people with dry skin can use this as long as they use a good moisturizer underneath this. Now, this also has medium to high coverage. It still looks quite natural on the skin, so that's why this is in my recommendation list. If you're a beginner, I know it can be a little bit confusing whether to go for a concealer, to go for a foundation, to go for both. I think you should start out maybe using a foundation that works for your skin tone, that works for your skin type, and then if you feel like the foundation doesn't give you enough coverage, if you have too much of a skin tone mismatch, then you can go for a concealer to correct that. For concealer, I really like the L'Oreal True Match Concealer. This is one I have repurchased 2-3 times at least. It's got a liquid formula that's very blendable. It doesn't dry or cake up in the under eye area, and the color selection is also quite suitable for Indian skin tones. Even though they have only 3 shades, they have a lot of yellowish ochre undertones, which works very well with Indian skin, which has a bit of pigmentation generally around the nose, mouth and the under eye area. Whenever you're using a foundation or a concealer, it's very important to set it with a powder. And that's because if you don't set it with the powder, your skin tends to get a little bit oily, especially in India where the climate tends to be so humid, so hot. Sweating happens very naturally. That's why a powder is really important. I would recommend the L'Oreal Matte Magique all-in-one powder. This is a really nice mattifying powder. It's not too cakey. It doesn't give you too much coverage, so it doesn't deposit like a lot of powder on the skin. And this is something you can use on an everyday basis, even when you're not using foundation or concealer. If you just want to mattify your face a little bit for day-to-day wear, you can use this. This comes in 5 shades and there's a pretty good shade variation to match different skin tones. So base makeup is sorted. My next essential is lip colors. When you're starting out, I know wearing a lot of color can be very scary and it's difficult to choose lipsticks that work for your skin tone. So I would suggest starting out with neutral colors, colors like brownish pinks or brownish peaches or brownish nude shades. These are shades that naturally look very good on Indian skin. With lipsticks, there are constantly so many new launches in the market. So I've kind of picked out a few lipsticks that are new launches and few of them which have been around for a long time but which I think are very good for beginners. So I have 2 shades from the new Maybelline Creamy Matte Lipstick range. The first shade is called Touch of Spice and the second one is called Nude Nuance. Nude Nuance is like this slightly brownish nude color. If you're going for a nude, please don't go for very pale fleshy nudes because they don't really look good on Indian skin. They are meant for really pale light skin. Go for something which has a little bit of brown in it, something a bit earthy because that looks natural on Indian skin. And then Touch of Spice is like pinkish color but with a healthy bit of brown in it. So once again, this looks very natural. These are shades you can wear to office as well as college every day. Talking of mattes, I also have the Revlon ColorBurst Matte Balm. This is in the shade Sultry and this has been a favorite of mine since like 3 years almost. This is a really nice deep mauve rose color. It looks very natural and especially on deeper skin, I think this looks really beautiful. So those were slightly matte colors. Coming to slightly glossier colors, colors that are more moisturizing, I've picked out the Lakme Absolute Argan Oil Lip Color and this is in the shade Soft Mauve and this is also a really nice everyday wear pink. I've swatched it on the top here. It's got a bit of a rosiness to it and a healthy bit of brown. So once again, looks really natural. And then I've picked out one gloss. I've picked out the L'Oreal Infallible gloss in the shade I Got the Power and this is like a brownie nude color. I'm going to swatch it on the bottom right here. You can see it's a very natural color. It's almost like just adds a little bit of color to your lips. It's very easy to wear and the formula feels very moisturizing. You can carry this for touch-ups in your bag as well. If you're someone who wants to start out with a really very natural color, I think this is a very good color to try out. I know lipsticks can be like a whole video unto themselves and I don't want to talk too much about lipsticks so that we can talk about other products. I'm leaving the lipsticks at that. Just a few neutral colors that you can start out wearing on an everyday basis so that you feel comfortable, and once you're more comfortable you can move on to wearing brighter and deeper colors. Moving on to mascara, I have only one recommendation, one that I absolutely love, and that is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. So this is, I think, a very good starter mascara because it's a very balanced mascara. It's not too natural, it's not too dramatic, it doesn't weigh your lashes down, and the brush also is sized very well. It's a curved brush, so it adds a little bit of lift to the lashes. It's not so big that you end up with mascara smudges everywhere, and it dries really quickly, and you can get this in a washable as well as a waterproof variant. Moving on to cheeks, I have got two options for blushes here. Once you're just starting out with makeup, I think it's a little scary to go for a blush that has a lot of color in it. You're scared of getting that clown cheek look where you have just big round blobs of color on the cheeks. So I've picked out a blush which I think is something everyone should be very comfortable wearing, and it's a neutral color called Creamy Cinnamon. This is from Maybelline. It's very budget friendly as well, so even if you don't end up using it a lot, it's not like a big investment down the drain. I think this is a color that looks nice on everybody. It's very natural, it doesn't add too much rouge to your cheeks, and it looks very natural, so everybody should feel quite comfortable using a color like this. And then I've picked out one product which is more for like special occasions like parties, festivals, and that is the Lakme Illuminating Shimmer Brick in the shade Coral. So this has like 4 strips of colors, and you've got a bit of shimmer running through all these colors. So you can just lightly touch the surface of the pan with a brush and then apply it to the apples of your cheeks, and that just gives you like this very pretty bronzy color with a bit of shimmer. So it adds a bit of glow, a little bit of color, a bit of shine, and it's just perfect for festive occasions, weddings, etc. So that is my second pick for cheeks. And then my last essential is a brow product. Brows are one of those things that are hugely neglected by most people, and we underestimate how much of a difference a good, well-filled brow can make to the face. When you're a beginner, it's important to start out with a brow product that's not too pigmented, and the Fashion Brow by Maybelline, it's perfect for that. So you have a brow liner, a brow pencil on one end, and the other end houses a powder. So what you can do is you can use the liner end to shape your brow and then fill in with the powder. Now both these products are not very dark, they're not very pigmented, so don't be scared about getting super strong crazy looking brows. These deposit very little color, very natural color, so they just give you a nice filled out look without going overboard. And if you have really scanty brows, really thin brows, I think you will notice a big difference when you fill your brows. It's going to completely change your face. So those are my top essentials if you're starting out as a beginner in makeup. Now what I've done is I've also picked out a few more products for when you want to move on to a little more advanced makeup. If you want to start using eyeshadows, if you want to start using a primer, contouring, highlighting and things like that. So I've picked out a few products which I personally think are really good for beginners. So let's move into that now. Once you feel you've got the hang of using liner, mascara, foundation, blush and lipsticks, and you want to try a little more, you want to try what primers are, how they work, you want to venture into eyeshadows, I've got 3 products here. For primer, the number 1 query I get is primer for oily skin or primer for skin that has got large pores. So for that I've picked out the L'Oreal Base Magic Primer. This was the first primer I tried out like probably around 5.5 years ago. This does a bit of mattifying, it also smoothens the skin a little bit. So if you feel your foundation makes your face oily after a few hours, if you feel like your pores are quite visible, you can use this, just a tiny bit of it under your foundation, and once you apply your foundation on top of it, this is going to help your foundation last a lot longer, especially for people who've got a really oily T-zone. For those who have dry skin, I would recommend the ColorBurst Perfect Match Primer. This also has a smoothing effect, a lot more smoothing effect than the L'Oreal one, and it's not very mattifying, so it works perfectly for people with dry skin. For eyeshadows, I think it's a very good idea to invest in an eyeshadow palette. When you're starting out, please go for neutral colors like browns, golds, soft coppers instead of going with something very bright. And I personally love this eyeshadow palette. This is the I Heart Chocolate palette by Makeup Revolution. Comes in a chocolate inspired packaging, and you have got these colors inside which are very natural. The quality is very good. These are very pigmented. pigmented, they blend really easily, and there's a very healthy mix between shimmers and matte colors in this palette. And the last product I've picked out is for those who want to experiment a bit with contouring and highlighting. I've picked out the Maybelline V Face Duo Stick. This basically has a highlighter on one end and a contouring stick on the other end. I've chosen a cream because it's quite easy to blend. You can just use your fingers to blend these colors, and these are not so crazy pigmented that you end up with a blotchy mess on your face. Try using only a tiny bit of amount at first. Use a little bit of the contour under your cheekbones and the highlight on top of your cheekbones. Just use your fingers or a brush to blend it out, and once you get more confident, you can try a stronger contour or a stronger highlight. So that is my last pick for this video. You can buy all these products online from the Nykaa sale. I'm going to put all the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any queries, you can always leave me a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye.